solving polynomials by factoring is really something we've already done before, because we've solved a ton of these polynomials. They were just, quadratics. That means x to the second power. And what we did previously is that since it was x to the second power, I'm going to factor and I'm going to get two solutions out of this. Now I'm kind of giving it away. I'm factoring, so that means that I'm going to get two real solutions, but I could get two imaginary. Now there is the rare occasion that I get one answer only. So factors of x squared are x and x. What are the factors of 12 that have to be -7? Well, I know it could be minus and minus, and I'm going to go with 3 and 4. So if I set each factor that I got equal to 0, I get x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 4. And it's going to be the same concept what we do with other factoring patterns. Okay, this has two terms. It is a binomial. Actually, I should look for the greatest common factor first, but 16 and 25 don't have greatest common factor. So since it's a binomial, I'm going to look for the difference of two squares. So what squared gets me 25? 5. What squared gets me 16? 4. Now, careful, it's x to the fourth, so it's got to be x squared, because x squared times x squared will get you x to the fourth. There is no pattern for fourth power, it's only to the second power. So my two factors are 4x minus 5, 4x squared minus 5, and 4x squared plus 5. And again, that is a very similar pattern that we did before. I'll set each of these equal to 0. So 4x squared, I'm going to add 5, divide by 4. And I'm just using the solve by square root method now, and get the square root of 5 over 2. Okay. Do the same thing, very similar, but now I'm going to subtract 5 right away. So minus 5 divided by 4. So x squared equals minus 5 over 4. Take the square root. Oh, look, it's a square root of a negative number, so I'm going to have the square root of 5, but I'll have an I out there over 2. And you're thinking to yourself, well, Mr. Thilgis, that's only two answers, but remember when I solve by square root, I have to throw away plus or minus. So there's two answers, there's 3, and there's 4. Okay, makes sense that I get 4 answers because I'm dealing with a quartic, fourth power. Okay, again, I will look for a GCF first, and I've got one. They're all divisible by x. So x to the fourth minus 3x squared minus 4. Okay, and I noticed that on the inside they add it to be x squared. So to get x to the fourth, I could just use x squared and x squared. And factors of 4 that have to be 3 will be minus 4 and plus 1. Okay, I'm going to check that real quick by foiling, but I'll get x to the fourth, right? Plus x squared minus 4x squared. Those will combine to minus 3x squared. And I know the last one's going to give me minus 4. So yeah, I got them right. So I will take x equal to 0, x squared minus 4 equals 0, and x squared is equal to, or plus 1 equals 0. So there's one answer. I'm going to add 4. Again, I'm just going to solve by square root. Get plus or minus 2. Okay, solve by square root and get plus or minus I. So I've got one answer there with 0, two answers with plus or minus 2, and two more answers with plus or minus I. Hey, I got 5 answers because my polynomial was to the 5th degree. Catch it on? So like for example, this one is x to the 3rd. So that means I'm going to have 3 solutions to this cubic. Now, you might think I'm going to solve by using the cubed root, but what you're going to end up missing out on is the other 2 solutions. So make sure you recognize that this is a pattern of 2 cubes. Okay, now it's something like this: a plus b and a squared minus ab plus b squared, or a minus b and a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, now since it's a minus, I'm going to use this pattern, and this a and b are these 2 things I have before they're cubed. So x minus 3, x squared, okay, plus 3x, or x times 3, whichever way you want to write it, plus 3 squared. So remember, the signs are the same. That's the opposite, and this is always a positive. Okay. So I can make that into 9 right now if you want me to, but I'm almost going to leave it alone for a second, because right here I'm going to be able to solve this one. I'll get x is equal to 3. There, that's the answer I would have got for the cube root. But on x squared plus 3x plus 9, I try to factor it, but I'm going to tell you it's not even factorable. So we're going to jump to the quadratic formula. Yep, so A is 1, B is 3, C is 9. I'll do my discriminant, so 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. That's going to give me 9 minus 36, so a negative 25. Yeah, so I have the opposite of 3, plus or minus the square root of negative 25, all over 2, or negative 3 plus or minus 5i over 2. So there's my 2 other solutions. I got one here that's real, and I've got 2 others that are imaginary. Why is it so important that I get 3? Because I'm dealing with cubic. Okay. One more cubic again. I need to get my 3 roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to make it equal to 0. I always have to do that when I'm solving by factoring. And now I notice I've got 4 terms, so now I'm going to factor by grouping. And it's taking 2 together at once and looking for a greatest common factor. So I look at these, I see that they're both divisible by x to the second. Okay, and when I take out that x to the second, I'm left with x plus 2. So, oops, spaz it over there. In my second set, I got to factor something out of these second 2 right here. So I also get x plus 2. So I'm going to divide by a negative 9. So 9x divided by negative 9 is positive x. Negative 18 divided by negative 9 is positive 9. Okay. Oops. There we go. I want to color code that as the minus 9. So those 2 things I took out in black were my greatest common factors of the 2. Now, my greatest common factor of the whole thing is x plus 2. So I'll go with my x plus 2 out on the outside. And when these cancel out, I'm left with x squared. These cancel out, I'm left with minus 9. And I can solve by factoring. So negative 2 would be one of my solutions. And I could solve by square root. So get x squared is equal to 9. X is equal to plus or minus 3. There's my other 2 real solutions. So there's my 3 solutions to this particular cubic. Okay, so whatever the highest degree of your polynomial, that's how many solutions you're looking for. And this is solving by factoring.